Okay, back again. Everything is all clean, ready to go. First step is put the bushing back in. Let's get some oil on there first. And this is the Penn 65 Longbeach, roughly from the late 30s. Just using the adjustable wrench today. You can use the Penn reel wrench as well. Just that it won't fit the outer nut. Next is the eccentric. Make sure that little tab goes in the hole first. And there's a little hole in here. Oops. Kind of like that. I'm going to flip it around, meanwhile put your finger on there. Meanwhile keeping pressure on it, we're going to put some oil on the threads. Just like that. It's kind of a balancing act, but take your time and we'll do it right. It's very similar to the other Penn reels, like the Bayhead, Bridge City, and pretty much most of the modern reels are sort of like this. That's all done. Next we're going to put the springs in. Next we're going to get our piece of metal here. We're going to put our dog in here. It's going to sit like this. Push down your thumb. So it should look like this. We're going to set this aside. So the drag washers fit the modern 65, the Penn 85, the Penn 145, 146, and so on. So if you do want to have new drag washers for this reel, you can do that. Next we're going to put this on. We're going to get some oil on here. I'm using a thin oil, not really a heavy gear oil or grease. Like this reel is not going to be used very much. So if you put grease on here, it's just going to stiffen up. So you put a lighter oil in, it's not going to gel up. I'm just going to top that in. I'll leave this off camera, I had a vise. What happened is it mushroomed. So the head's no longer completely flat, it's mushroomed. That's why that little pin right here won't fit in properly. I think that's what happened. I just tapped it in with a hammer and a punch. Here's a punch. I just tapped it in very lightly. So next we're going to be putting a little more oil in the shaft. So the first step so we have our new drag washers. We're going to line them all up. So the smallest one goes in the bottom. So out of your complete drag stack, the smallest washer goes on first, then your main gear, then your drag washer, and here's a metal washer, so with just a plain regular washer with no tabs on it. Drag washer. Next, the washer with the tabs on it is next. drag washer, then the brass washer, and then the wave spring, that's next. And that is the drag washer. Putting a little bit of pressure on there, it's working fine. So next we're going to do is we're going to flip this upside down. We're going to insert it. So what I'm going to do is put my thumb on here, insert it, swing it around halfway so it looks like this. Bring in our full threaded screw, insert it in, put our dog bone in, turn the shaft until it catches. You can kind of see it catching. I'm not sure if you can kind of see that or not, but it's catching. Next is the spring. Kind of a tricky thing to do, but take your time at it and you'll get it right. So the long side goes towards the inside of the reel, and the short side goes inside here. We're going to keep rotating it. We'll keep pressure on there. Line it up. We're going to turn it counterclockwise until it starts. So I don't cross thread any screws. Now we're going to be doing the half threaded one, like it was on the top. Not sure you heard that click or not, but that's the sound of it lining up. I'm going to try not to cross thread anything here. So remember that the fully threaded screws go on the bottom and the half threaded screws go on top. The reason is that because the springs will ride on that shaft without picking up. So we're going to screw it in, but not going to tighten it. Just leave it loose. Sometimes you have to loosen the other ones to get it to fit. Yeah, there we go, caught. So what we're going to do is making sure it's meshing properly before tightening the bridge down. And before we tighten it, we're going to do almost like you're torquing a car tire, just left and right. That's so that you don't pinch anything or break anything while tightening these screws. It's only brass and plastic.